Because y'all would watch it, right? Okay. Hey, it is February the 4th, and we're talking about chapters 120, 121, and it has to do with Spanish colonies. And now we're talking about John Cabot, the English explorer, or the explorer for England, I guess is a fair way to put it. And so you see here on this map, he's going to sail from England. He's going to make headway to Greenland, which already had people on it. It's like, okay. And so he's going to go around, and here he's going to see the coast of Canada, which, you remember, those pesky Vikings who were here already sailed over there in the first place. But nobody in England knew about that. And so they're going to sail around Labrador Island here. And on his second trip, he's going to come back, and he's going to see, like, Maine and places that will eventually become the United States of America. He's going to sail back to Britain. So like, hey, there's land over there. Was there a lot of gold? Was there a bunch of, like, pyramid silver and stuff? Nope. Okay, I don't care. So the English didn't really care that much. This is, however, there are going to be, like they were talking about Sir Walter Raleigh, who would start some colonization. Hey, what you got? For what class? Nope. She need her computers are, I think. Who does Miss Martinez share computers with? Miss Cook?
No.
Okay. What? Yeah, try her. Thanks. Yeah, because my computers can only be with me and science. Even though we don't really have anything in common, but whatever.
You're not gonna ask questions.
I don't. I just nod my head. Try to end the conversation. No.
It's the best way to do it.
All right. So they're going to come to the New World, and like I told you before, a lot of the inspiration to come to the New World is that they believed. Elizabeth I believed in her astrologer who told her that there actually was gold in America. And there were secret ingredients for the Philosopher's Stone. Well, you're going to have the failed colony of Roanoke and all that stuff we'll talk about next year. And they're not going to find any of that stuff. But that's okay. They're going to come back later on, and then they're going to have some good colonies in. So just know that at this time, England and France are going to penetrate into America and into Canada, but they're not going to be excited. They're like, it's cold. There's a bunch of trees, and there's some Indians, but what do they got? And so they're more concerned with kind of like building up their own affairs and trying to see how they can milk gold out of Spain and piracy, good old-fashioned piracy. If they looked out and found all the gold, maybe we could just find Spain. So
you never know.
You never know, and they will find Spain, and they're going to get some of that gold and silver. So, folks, short and sweet. Let's go ahead and let's see Spanish and Indian relations. So, how did the Spanish generally treat Indians within their colonies?
They worked them hard.
Worked them hard, especially at first. Like they, the Indians when they first took over the Aztecs, they got so gold and silver crazy that they would essentially just work them like machines. They would put them into these strip mines, have them go, not strip mines, like these tunnel mines, have them go deep down in there, just pulling over and over and over. If they didn't work hard, they'd whip them. And of course, their bodies were so susceptible to European diseases, so many of them just wound up dying. Like it was like genocide. Like it was kind of like a death camp, really. They're working them to death. So at first, many natives worked to death to mine gold and silver. And there was a lot of it. There's going to be so much, like I told you, it's going to ruin the Spanish economy because of super hyperinflation. Which means money, now the price of everything goes up so high that your money's not worth much anymore. So there's that. But the crown wasn't on their side. A lot of this had to do with pretty greedy conquistadors who came over, were very self-serving, and a lot of them didn't see the Indians as human. Really, like it was very cruel. Hey, Robert, can you turn around, buddy? So you got that. after the crown figures this out, and oddly enough, they're going to have debates in the king's court where you're going to have people debate: are the Indians human? And are they they be treated as subjects to the king? Do they have souls to be saved and all this stuff, or are they essentially kind of like something else, and we don't really have to worry too much about them? Well, luckily, the guys on the human side won, and so the king decided to treat them more humanely. So, eventually, however, your book is correct to point out that doesn't mean that the governments in these colonies actually listen. Oh yeah, okay, sure thing, Your Highness. So, but they still might be very exploitative of the people. All right. So eventually, the crown demanded humane treatment of Indians. And they're going to outlaw slavery and all that good stuff. So Spain is going to be one of the first to ban slavery. It's going to take a while. Eventually, England will catch up. All right, Spanish friars. So what did the friars do in the New World? They whoa? What?
So they were friars that were Spanish.
Friars that were Spanish. That's right. So okay, so
They tried to convert.
that's right. They were trying to proselytize. Let me see.
The natives.
Wanted.
NW.
Yeah.
That's a W.
Yeah. Wanted to convert, educate, and civilize them. And yeah, the natives. So here's the thing. So these guys really believe this. They're out there willing to die for this cause. They really believe that they were doing the work of Christ. But the thing is, in some places, it's going to be receptive. In some places, there's going to be violent Indian revolts. And there's going to be some places where the Indians are actually really not going to like it. Like in West Texas, you have the Coahuiltecans. And the Coahuiltecans were known as like the most poor people on the human race. They literally lived in the West Texas desert. They didn't have any houses. They didn't wear clothes. They lived off of eating bugs and lizards. They would even like pick like seeds out of feces and eat those and stuff. They're like super starving, hungry, bony people. But they were so used to that lifestyle when they moved into the missions. Many of them actually got they like what we would call depression, and they just wouldn't get out of bed and they died. So like they just hated that kind of lifestyle. They didn't like have clothes on their skin or being enclosed in a room. Like they just couldn't stand it. They didn't like the idea of work. Like they're like, wow, I can just go around and look for food and find it. So like it just wasn't their culture. So culture shock. All right, kids. Next one, Spanish control. So what was it like? Like how did the colonies respond when like here's another way to put it. All right. So what were the economies of the colonies like for the Spanish? Did they tell them, hey, open market, it's free world, do what you want to?
They're like workshops.
Yeah. And we call that's under the theory of mercantilism. So they believed that there's only so much wealth in the world, and it only comes in gold and silver, specie, bullion. And whoever owns the most of it owns the world's wealth. So get as much of it as you can. And colonies were a way to milk these resources. So colonies had no economic freedom. They could only buy what Spain told them to. see, seen as, oops, there's no A and C. A source for resources, natural resources. And so this is going to lead to a lot of resentment in Spanish colonies. They don't have a lot of political freedom. The people in charge are Europeans who are appointed to come over, and they don't really care about the locals that much. Nobody respects the laws. The crown says do this and this. Everybody nods and does what they want to anyways. They have no economic freedom. They're only allowed to buy Spanish goods, but the Spanish they didn't have a lot of industries and stuff. And the stuff that they made wasn't as good as what, like, say, France and England were making. So they would often buy their goods from smugglers. So you're going to have a whole black market come up in a lot of these colonies. So, no, there's always been black markets. Like, wherever there's been economic control, there's been people who are going to find a way to get what they want to, right? But whereas, like, you're going to see in, like, English colonies, they're going to be like, do whatever you want to, take care of yourself. And then when they try to take that away, that's when you're going to have the American Revolution. But there's a big connection. You can't separate personal freedom from economic freedom. They're inseparable. If you don't have one, you don't have the other. All right, Sir John Cabot. So, who did he sail for? Yeah. See, so sent out by England's Henry VII. And he's going to discover, again, essentially Canada and some of North America. So, I can get another red. So, yeah. But he's going to find no gold, nothing too interesting to the English. They're like, we just want easy money. Ugh. We don't want a bunch of plants and dirt and stuff. No. All right. So, all right, Jacques is going to, of course, he's going to sail into Canada. He's going to discover the St. Lawrence River. So sailed to Canada for France. And of course, he's looking for what's known as the Northwest Passage. And that's a water route going from Europe, from the east to the west, all the way to China. And it exists. It's just under ice under the North Pole. So it doesn't work unless you had a submarine. All right, so early English interest. So why did I put that one there? Okay, yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah. Found no gold. So, yeah, they sent sea dogs as pirates.
Like Sir Francis Drake.
Yes. Versus the Spanish. Very good. I'm glad y'all are thinking. I'm kind of shutting down. All right. That works for me. Yeah, so, I mean, eventually they're going to find big cash crops, such as like indigo and tobacco and stuff like that. But we're not there yet. Agriculture is not on the British mind at the moment. They're trying to get away from that. They're trying to get away from a lot of that farming. They're wanting to get on to like domestically, they're moving on to like sheep and textiles, factories, stuff like that. So it's going to end it for today, kids. We're going to come back tomorrow and see about the rest. See you later.
Dubai.